The unlikely match. The crystalline spires of Salaxia's capital city glittered under the light of 3 moons, their ethereal beauty a stark contrast to the tension filling the grand reception hall. Ambassador Jack Harper stood at the center of the gathered dignitaries, his heart racing not from the countless alien eyes upon him, but from the captivating gaze of Princess Zara. Zara was unlike any Salaxian Jack had ever encountered. Where her people were known for their luminescent skin and graceful, almost liquid movements, Zara's appearance was solid, her skin a deep obsidian that seemed to absorb light rather than emit it. She moved with a purposeful stride that spoke of strength rather than the fluid grace typical of her species. As Jack approached her, whispers rippled through the crowd. He could almost taste the disapproval in the air. Zara was the least favored of the royal children, an anomaly among her kind, but to Jack, she was the most intriguing being he'd ever encountered. "Princess Zara," he said, bowing deeply, "may I have this dance?" Zara's eyes, pools of swirling silver, widened in surprise. "Ambassador Harper," she replied, her voice a melody that sent shivers down Jack's spine. "Are you certain? There are many here more, suitable for a human of your station." Jack smiled, extending his hand. "I'm certain that you're the only one I wish to dance with tonight." As Zara placed her hand in his, a jolt of electricity seemed to pass between them. The orchestra struck up a haunting melody, and they began to move across the floor. Jack marveled at how perfectly they fit together, despite their physical differences. "You dance remarkably well for someone with only 2 legs," Zara teased, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Jack laughed. "And you move with incredible grace for someone so solid." As they twirled and stepped in time with the alien music, the rest of the world seemed to fade away. Jack found himself lost in Zara's eyes, captivated by the intelligence and warmth he saw there. "Why did you ask me to dance?" Zara asked softly. "You must know what they say about me." Jack's grip on her waist tightened slightly. "I don't care what they say. I see you, Zara. I see your strength, your kindness, your brilliance. You're unlike anyone I've ever met." A faint blush darkened Zara's obsidian cheeks. "And you, Jack Harper, are unlike any human I've encountered. You see beyond appearances, beyond species." As the dance ended, neither was eager to part. They spent the rest of the evening in deep conversation, discussing everything from interstellar politics to their favorite foods from their respective home worlds. Days turned into weeks, and Jack found every excuse to spend time with Zara. They explored the crystal forests of Salaxia, debated philosophy in the royal libraries, and shared quiet moments watching the dance of the planet's 3 moons. It was during one such moment, as they sat on a balcony overlooking the shimmering city, that Jack realized he had fallen deeply, irrevocably in love with the alien princess. "Zara," he said, taking her hand, "I know this is unconventional, perhaps even impossible, but I love you. I can't imagine my life without you in it." Zara's silver eyes shimmered with emotion. "Oh, Jack, I love you too. But you know the obstacles we face. My people, your people, they'll never accept us." Jack cupped her face gently. "Then we'll make them accept us. We'll show them that love knows no boundaries, not even those between stars." Their lips met in a kiss that seemed to make the very air around them vibrate with energy. Neither noticed the faint glow that emanated from their joined hands, a shimmer of power awakening after eons of slumber. When they announced their intention to marry, the reaction was immediate and intense. The Salaxian royal court was thrown into chaos. Earth's diplomatic corps scrambled to understand the implications. Across the galaxy, news of the unprecedented union spread like wildfire. King Zorath, Zara's father, paced the throne room, his luminescent form flickering with agitation. "This is madness, Zara. You cannot marry a human. Think of the consequences, the instability it could bring to our alliances." Zara stood tall, her obsidian skin gleaming under the crystal chandeliers. "Father, I love him, and our union could bring our peoples closer together. Isn't that what we've always strived for? The king's glow dimmed slightly. You've always been different, my daughter. But this is beyond anything we could have imagined. Perhaps that's exactly what we need, Zara argued. Something beyond imagination to bridge the gap between our worlds. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jack faced his own battles. In a tense video conference with his superiors, he defended his decision. Ambassador Harper, Admiral Chen said, her voice tight with concern. While we appreciate the diplomatic implications of your relationship, have you considered the biological incompatibilities, the potential risks? Jack met her gaze steadily. Admiral, with all due respect, love finds a way. Zara and I are committed to overcoming any obstacles. Think of the doors this could open for human-Salaxian relations. Despite the opposition, Jack and Zara's determination never wavered. They worked tirelessly to address concerns, to build support for their union. Slowly, grudgingly, both sides began to see the potential benefits of such an alliance. The day of the wedding arrived, a spectacle unlike any the galaxy had seen. The ceremony blended human and Salaxian traditions, a symbol of the bridge they hoped to build between their peoples. As Jack and Zara exchanged vows, a strange energy filled the air. The crystal walls of the great cathedral seemed to pulse with an ancient power. When their lips met in the ceremonial kiss, a blinding light engulfed them, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. When the light faded, Jack and Zara stood transformed. Jack's skin shimmered with a faint luminescence, while Zara's obsidian form was shot through with veins of glowing silver. They stared at each other in awe, feeling a new power coursing through their veins. What just happened? Jack whispered, flexing his glowing fingers. Zara shook her head, equally stunned. I don't know, but I feel different, stronger. From the crowd, an ancient Salaxian sage stepped forward, his eyes wide with recognition and fear. The prophecy, he murmured. The union that will awaken the old powers. It has begun. As the newlyweds turned to face the astonished crowd, they knew their journey was just beginning. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever powers they had awakened, they would face them together. Their love had already changed them. Now it seemed it was about to change the entire galaxy. The reception that followed was a blur of congratulations, barely concealed wonder, and hushed speculation. Jack and Zara tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, but they could feel the eyes of every guest upon them, studying their transformed appearances. As the celebration wound down, King Zoreth approached the couple, his expression a mix of concern and awe. My daughter, Jack, he said softly, I believe we have much to discuss. The sage speaks of ancient prophecies and awakened powers. We must understand what this means for you, for our peoples, for the galaxy itself. Jack squeezed Zara's hand, feeling the pulse of energy between them. We're ready, Your Majesty. Whatever this is, whatever it means, we'll face it together. As they followed the king to a private chamber, Jack and Zara exchanged a look of determination. Their wedding day had brought more than just the joining of two hearts. It had awakened something ancient and powerful. The next chapter of their story, and perhaps the story of the entire galaxy, was about to unfold. Cosmic legacy unveiled. As the twin suns of Salaxia rose, casting a shimmering glow across the crystal spires of the royal palace, Jack and Zara stood hand in hand on their private balcony. The events of their wedding day still felt surreal, their transformed appearances a constant reminder of the power that had awakened within them. I still can't believe this is real, Jack murmured, watching the faint luminescence ripple beneath his skin. Zara squeezed his hand, her obsidian skin now interwoven with pulsing silver veins. Real and terrifying, she admitted. We've opened a door to something far beyond our understanding. Their quiet moment was interrupted by an urgent knock. King Zoreth entered, accompanied by the ancient sage who had spoken at their wedding. The old Elaxian's name was Kale, and his eyes held the weight of eons. It is time, Kel announced, his voice quavering with anticipation. You must learn of your cosmic legacy. The group descended deep beneath the palace, into chambers untouched for millennia. Holograms flickered to life, showing scenes of a galaxy long past. Kel's voice filled the room, weaving a tale that would reshape their understanding of the universe. Eons ago, when the stars were young, a race known as the primordia ruled the cosmos, he began. They were beings of pure energy, guardians of creation itself. But their power bred arrogance, and they began to manipulate the fabric of reality for their own gain. Images flashed before them, celestial beings locked in cosmic battle, entire solar systems reduced to ash. A great war erupted, Kel continued. The primordia split into two factions, those who sought to protect life, and those who wished to reshape it in their image. The conflict raged for eons, threatening to tear apart the very fabric of spacetime. Jack and Zara watched, transfixed, as the story of their cosmic ancestors unfolded. In a last, desperate gambit, the protector faction sacrificed their corporeal forms. They scattered their essence across the galaxies, seeding countless worlds with the potential for their power to reawaken. Your union, Kale said, turning to face Jack and Zara, has triggered that awakening. The weight of this revelation settled over them like a heavy cloak. They were no longer just an unlikely couple bridging two worlds. They were the heirs to a cosmic legacy, tasked with wielding power beyond imagination. But why us? Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Why a human and a Xalaxian? Kel's ancient eyes twinkled. The primordia knew that only a love strong enough to transcend the boundaries of worlds could safely channel their power. You are the fulfillment of an eons-old plan the Guardians our galaxy has awaited. As if in response to Kel's words, the chamber began to hum with energy. Jack and Zara felt the power within them surge, responding to the ancient technology around them. Streams of light erupted from their bodies, intertwining in a dazzling display. Incredible, King Zoreth breathed, watching as his daughter and son-in-law were enveloped in a cocoon of pure energy. Within the swirling light, Jack and Zara experienced visions of cosmic wonders and terrors beyond comprehension. They saw the birth of stars, the death of galaxies, and the intricate web of energy that connected all living things. When the light faded, they stood transformed once more. Their bodies seemed to shimmer with an inner radiance, and their eyes held the depth of galaxies. I can feel it, Jack said in awe, flexing his fingers as sparks of energy danced between them. The power of creation itself. Zara nodded, equally amazed. And the responsibility that comes with it. We're connected to everything, Jack. Every living being in the cosmos. Kale approached them, bowing deeply. The awakening is complete. You are now the cosmic guardians, protectors of life and balance in the universe. But even as they marveled at their newfound abilities, a shadow fell across Kel's ancient face. But beware, he warned, for where there is great power, there are always those who would seek to corrupt it. The descendants of the dark factions still lurk in the void between stars, waiting for this very moment. As if summoned by his words, alarms began to blare throughout the palace. King Zoreth rushed to a communication panel, his luminescent form flickering with anxiety. Multiple unknown ships have entered our system, he reported, his voice tense. They're not responding to hails, and their energy signatures are unlike anything we've ever encountered. Jack and Zara exchanged a determined look. The weight of their new role settled upon their shoulders, but with it came a sense of purpose neither had ever known. We need to face this threat, Jack said, his voice resonating with newfound authority. It's time to put these powers to the test. Zara nodded, her silver-veined hand clasping his. Together, my love, as we've done everything else. As they prepared to face this unknown enemy, the newly christened Cosmic Guardians knew that the fate of not just their worlds, but the entire galaxy now rested in their hands. The next chapter of their extraordinary journey was about to unfold, and the cosmos itself held its breath in anticipation. King Zoreth led them to the palace's command center, a hub of frantic activity as Xalaxian operators monitored the approaching threat. The central holodisplay showed a swarm of sleek, obsidian ships, their designs an unsettling blend of organic and mechanical elements. By the ancient stars, Kel whispered, his eyes wide with recognition. The Void Harbingers, they've returned. Jack turned to the sage, sensing the fear in his voice. The dark faction you spoke of. Kale nodded grimly. Their descendants, twisted by eons of hatred and corrupted power, they seek to unmake creation itself, to return the universe to a state of primordial chaos. Zara stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the approaching Almeida. Then we stop them, here and now. As if in response to her declaration, the lead ship of the Void Harbingers opened fire. A beam of writhing darkness lanced out, striking Salaxia's planetary shield. The entire planet shuddered under the impact. Shields at 60% and dropping, a technician called out. We can't withstand another hit like that. Jack closed his eyes, reaching deep within himself to tap into his newfound powers. He felt the energy of creation itself flowing through him, connecting him to the very fabric of spacetime. Beside him, Zara did the same, their energies intertwining in a dazzling display of light. We need to buy time, Jack said, his voice echoing with power. Evacuate the city, get as many people to safety as possible. With a shared nod of understanding, Jack and Zara teleported from the command center, reappearing in the space between Salaxia and the approaching fleet. They hovered there, 2 points of radiant light against the backdrop of stars. The Void Harbinger's ship slowed, clearly surprised by the unexpected appearance of the cosmic guardians. For a moment, silence reigned in the vacuum of space. Then a voice like grinding stone filled their minds. So, the legacy of our ancient enemies lives on. How quaint. A figure materialized before them, a being of swirling darkness, its form constantly shifting and roiling. This was Nyx, leader of the Void Harbingers and heir to the dark faction's twisted dreams. You cannot hope to stand against us, Nyx sneered. We have had eons to perfect our powers. You are mere infants playing with forces beyond your comprehension. Jack's eyes narrowed, his body pulsing with determination. We may be new to this power, but we wield it with purpose, with love, something you could never understand. Zara raised her hands, summoning a shield of pure energy that enveloped Salaxia. This is our home, our people. We will not let you destroy them. Nyx's laughter was like shattering glass. Foolish children, your love, your precious worlds, they are insignificant motes in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. We will unmake it all, return existence to beautiful, perfect chaos. With that, Nyx unleashed a torrent of void energy, a beam of unlight that threatened to annihilate everything in its path. Jack and Zara poured their power into the shield, gritting their teeth against the onslaught. The battle that followed was beyond the comprehension of mortal minds. The cosmic guardians and the Void Harbingers clashed in a ballet of creation and destruction, their powers warping the very fabric of space around them. Stars flickered and pulsed in response to their conflict, and the void itself seemed to tremble. Jack and Zara fought as one, their movements perfectly synchronized, their powers amplifying each other. They summoned cosmic winds to buffet the enemy fleet, called down solar flares to scorch their hulls, and wove shields of pure light to protect Salaxia from the worst of the assault. But the Void Harbingers were ancient and cunning. For every attack the Guardians launched, Nyx and his followers had a counter. The battle raged for what felt like eons, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. As the conflict reached its peak, Jack and Zara found themselves back to back, surrounded by a writhing mass of void energy. Nyx's laughter echoed around them, filled with malicious glee. You see, the dark being crowed. Your power is nothing compared to ours. Surrender now, and perhaps we'll allow your precious worlds to be the last we unmake. Jack reached for Zara's hand, feeling the pulse of her energy. In that touch, he found renewed strength, renewed purpose. Never, he declared, his voice ringing with defiance. As long as we stand together, you will never win. Zara squeezed his hand, her own voice joining his. Our love transcended the boundaries between worlds. It awakened powers dormant for eons. And now, it will be your undoing. With a shared cry of determination, Jack and Zara unleashed the full extent of their power. Light exploded outward from them in a dazzling nova, scouring away the darkness of the void energy. The Void Harbinger's ships crumbled under the onslaught, their corrupted forms unable to withstand the pure energy of creation. Nyx howled in rage and disbelief as the light engulfed him. This isn't over, he snarled as his form began to disintegrate. We are eternal. We will return. With a final, reality-shaking explosion, the Void Harbingers were gone. The silence that followed was profound, broken only by the heavy breathing of the two cosmic guardians as they floated in the void, still hand in hand. Slowly, they turned to face each other. Despite the intensity of the battle, despite the enormous powers they had wielded, in that moment they were simply Jack and Zara, two beings joined by a love strong enough to save the galaxy. We did it, Jack breathed, a tired smile spreading across his face. Zara nodded, tears of relief and joy shimmering in her star-filled eyes. Together, my love, as we always will. As they embraced, their energies intertwining once more, the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter. The first great test of the cosmic guardians had been faced and overcome, but both knew that this was only the beginning of their journey. Hand in hand, they turned back towards Salaxia, ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos might yet hold. For in their love, in their unity, they had found a power greater than any force in the universe, and with it, they would protect the galaxy, now and for eons to come. Echoes of eternity. The aftermath of the battle with the Void Harbingers left the galaxy in a state of awe and trepidation. News of the cosmic guardians spread like wildfire across the stars, igniting hope in some and fear in others. Jack and Zara found themselves at the center of a cosmic storm, their every move scrutinized by beings across countless worlds. As they stood in the newly constructed Nexus chamber, a vast room at the heart of Salaxia's capital designed to amplify and channel their powers, Jack couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. It's like the entire universe is holding its breath, waiting to see what we'll do next, he murmured, watching holographic displays of various galaxies swirl around them. Zara nodded, her obsidian skin shimmering with veins of cosmic energy. With great power comes great responsibility, as your Earth philosophers say. We've inherited the mantle of the primordia. The question is, how do we wield it? That contemplation was interrupted by the arrival of Ambassador Lyra, a being of pure light from the Andromeda galaxy. Her form flickered as she materialized in the chamber, her voice like chiming crystals. "Greetings, cosmic guardians," she said, bowing slightly. "I come bearing both gratitude and warning. Your defeat of the Void Harbingers has not gone unnoticed. Many celebrate your victory, but others fear the return of beings with the power of the primordia." Jack frowned, crossing his arms. "We're not looking to rule or dominate. We just want to protect life, to maintain the balance." Lyra's light pulsed in what might have been a sigh. Noble intentions, but history is littered with the consequences of good intentions wielded with too much power. There are whispers of a coalition forming, beings who believe the power of the primordia should remain lost to time. Zara stepped forward, her eyes flashing with determination. "Then we'll prove ourselves through our actions. We'll show the galaxy that this power can be a force for good, for unity." As if in response to her words, alarms began to blare throughout the Nexus chamber. Holographic displays shifted, showing a massive disturbance in the fabric of spacetime. By the cosmic winds, Lyra gasped. "It's a chronofracture. The battle with the Void Harbingers must have weakened the barriers between time streams." Jack and Zara exchanged a worried glance. They could feel the pulses of temporal energy radiating from the fracture, threatening to tear apart the very fabric of reality. "We need to contain it," Jack said, already reaching out with his powers to assess the damage. Zara nodded, joining her energy with his. If we don't, entire timelines could collapse, erasing countless lives from existence. They teleported to the site of the chronofracture, a swirling maelstrom of temporal energy in the void between star systems. As they approached, they could see glimpses of other timelines, worlds where history had taken different turns, realities both wondrous and horrifying. "Remember your training," Jack said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "We need to weave the time streams back together without causing further damage." They began their work, using their cosmic powers to delicately manipulate the flows of time and space. It was painstaking, exhausting labor, requiring a level of concentration beyond anything they had ever attempted. As they worked, figures began to emerge from the fracture, temporal echoes of beings from across the multiversal spectrum. Some were familiar faces twisted by alternate histories, others were entities beyond comprehension. A version of King Zoreth, his luminescent form crackling with dark energy, materialized before them. "Traitors," he snarled. "In my timeline, you sided with the Void Harbingers. You brought ruin to all." Before Jack could respond, the temporal echo attacked, forcing them to divide their attention between mending the fracture and defending themselves. More echoes appeared, a human general determined to weaponize their powers for Earth's dominance, a coalition of alien races seeking to imprison them, even twisted versions of themselves drunk on cosmic power. "Don't let them distract you," Zara shouted, deflecting an attack from a corrupted version of herself. "They're not real, just possibilities given form by the fracture." Jack gritted his teeth, pouring more energy into the mending process. "I know, but it doesn't make fighting them any easier." As the battle raged and the mending continued, Jack and Zara found themselves pushed to the very limits of their newfound abilities. The fate of not just their timeline, but countless others, hung in the balance. In a moment of desperation, as the fracture threatened to tear itself wide open, Jack had an epiphany. "Zara, we need to harmonize our powers, not just combine them, but create a perfect resonance." Understanding dawned in Zara's eyes. They had been working in tandem, but not in true unity. With a shared nod, they reached for each other, their hands clasping as their very essences intertwined. The power that surged through them was unlike anything they had ever experienced. It was as if they could see the entire multiverse laid out before them, every possibility, every timeline interconnected in a vast cosmic web. With this new understanding, they began to sing, a song of creation, of harmony, of the fundamental forces that bound all of existence together. The melody wove through the fabric of spacetime, mending the fractures, soothing the temporal distortions. The echoes, faced with the pure resonance of their combined power, began to fade. Some disappeared with howls of defiance, others with sighs of relief, as if grateful to return to the realm of possibility rather than half-formed reality. As the last notes of their cosmic song faded, Jack and Zara found themselves floating in calm space, the chronofracture sealed as if it had never existed. They turned to each other, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," Zara breathed, her form shimmering with residual energy. "We actually did it." Jack nodded, a tired smile on his face. "Together. It's always stronger when we're together." As they prepared to return to Xalaxia, a soft voice echoed around them. "Well done, young guardians." They spun, startled, to find themselves face to face with a being of pure light and cosmic energy, a true primordian, one of the ancients they had fought long gone from the universe. "You have taken the first steps on a long journey," the primordian said, its voice like the music of the spheres. "There will be more trials ahead, more challenges to face, but you have proven yourselves worthy of the legacy we left behind." Jack and Zara bowed their heads in respect. "We won't let you down," Jack promised. The primordian's light pulsed in what might have been a smile. "We know. For in your love, in your unity, you have discovered the greatest power in all of creation. Guard it well, nurture it always, and there is no force in the cosmos that can stand against you." With those words, the ancient being faded from view, leaving Jack and Zara alone in the vastness of space. They turned to each other, their hands clasping once more. "Ready for whatever comes next?" Zara asked, her eyes shining with love and determination. Jack nodded, pulling her close. "Always, as long as we're together." As they teleported back to Xalaxia, ready to face the consequences of their latest adventure, they knew that their journey as cosmic guardians was only beginning. But with their love as their guide and their unity as their strength, they were prepared to face whatever challenges the universe might throw their way. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter as they departed, as if the entire cosmos was celebrating the rise of its new protectors. The legend of the cosmic guardians, of the human and the alien princess whose love transcended boundaries and awakened ancient powers, was only just beginning to be written across the eternal tapestry of spacetime. Cosmic confluence. The galactic year 3075 dawned with an unprecedented event, the first ever cosmic confluence. Representatives from 1,000,000 worlds gathered on the newly constructed space station Harmony, a marvel of engineering that hung in the void between galaxies. Its design, a breathtaking fusion of organic and technological elements, reflected the union of countless civilizations. At the heart of Harmony stood Jack and Zara, the cosmic guardians, their forms shimmering with barely contained power. 5 years had passed since their battle with the Void Harbingers and the sealing of the chronofracture. In that time, they had faced challenges that had tested not only their abilities, but the very fabric of their relationship. "Nervous?" Jack asked, giving Zara's hand a gentle squeeze. She offered him a small smile, her obsidian skin pulsing with veins of starlight. "A little. It's not every day you address representatives from 1,000,000 worlds." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Quantum, their adopted child, a being born from the residual energies of the chronofracture. Quantum's form shifted constantly, sometimes appearing as a young human, other times as a Xalaxian, and occasionally as something altogether alien. "Mom, Dad," Quantum said, their voice a harmonious blend of tones, "the delegates are ready." Jack nodded, taking a deep breath. "All right, let's make history." As they stepped onto the central platform of Harmony's Grand Assembly Hall, a hush fell over the gathered delegates. Beings of every conceivable form, from energy constructs to silicon-based life, from hive minds to singular entities, all turned their attention to the cosmic guardians. Jack's voice, amplified by both technology and his cosmic powers, resonated through the hall. "Delegates of the cosmic confluence, we welcome you. Today marks a new era of cooperation and understanding between all sentient beings." Zara continued, her words weaving seamlessly with Jack's. "We stand at a crossroads. The power of the primordia has awakened, and with it both great potential and great danger. It is our responsibility, all of us, to ensure that this power is used for the betterment of all life." As they spoke, holographic displays came to life around the hall, showing the many achievements and challenges of the past 5 years. Worlds rescued from ecological disaster, civilizations uplifted from tyranny, and cosmic threats averted. But not all the images were of triumph. They showed, too, the worlds that distrusted them, the beings who feared the return of primordian power. The cosmic guardians had made mistakes, had sometimes acted too rashly or failed to foresee the consequences of their actions. "We are not perfect," Jack admitted, his honesty resonating with the delegates. "We have made mistakes, and we will likely make more. But we stand before you today not as rulers or gods, but as partners." Zara nodded, her eyes scanning the assembled beings. "We propose the formation of a cosmic council, a body made up of representatives from all willing worlds, to guide the use of primordian power and to hold us accountable." The assembly hall erupted in a cacophony of voices, some supportive, others skeptical. Quantum stepped forward, their forms settling into a blend of human and Xalaxian features. "I am the child of 2 worlds," they said, their voice cutting through the noise. "Born of cosmic power but raised with love. I have seen firsthand the good that can be done when we work together, when we bridge the gaps between us. As Quantum spoke, a strange energy began to fill the hall. The cosmic guardians felt it first, a familiar pulse of power that set their nerves on edge. Suddenly, at the center of the assembly, a swirling vortex of darkness materialized. From its depths emerged a figure that sent shockwaves of fear through the gathered delegates. Nyx, the leader of the Void Harbingers, somehow returned from defeat. How touching, Nyx sneered, his form seeming to devour the light around him. The children of the primordia playing at cosmic politics. Jack and Zara immediately moved to shield the delegates, their powers flaring to life. "How are you here?" Jack demanded. "We destroyed you." Nyx's laughter was like shattering glass. "You merely scattered us to the cosmic winds. But chaos cannot be truly destroyed. We have spent these years regathering our strength, and now we come to claim what is ours." With a gesture, Nyx unleashed tendrils of void energy that lashed out at the delegates. The cosmic guardians sprang into action, weaving shields of pure light to protect the assembled beings. "Quantum, get everyone to safety," Zara shouted as she deflected a particularly vicious attack. But Quantum stood their ground, their form rippling with untapped power. "No, I can help. You've trained me for this." As the battle raged, threatening to tear apart the symbol of unity they had worked so hard to build, Jack and Zara found themselves fighting on multiple fronts. They had to protect the delegates, contain Nyx's chaotic power, and ensure that harmony itself wasn't destroyed in the crossfire. Nyx pressed his advantage, his void energy seeping into the very structure of the space station. "Your precious unity is a lie," he hissed. "The universe tends towards entropy, towards beautiful chaos. Accept it." Jack gritted his teeth, pouring more power into his shields. "Unity isn't about erasing differences," he countered. "It's about finding strength in them." As if in response to his words, something remarkable began to happen. The delegates, rather than fleeing, began to lend their own unique abilities to the fight. Energy beings formed living barriers, silicon-based life reinforced the station's structure, and hive minds coordinated defensive strategies. Zara's eyes widened in realization. "Jack, this is it. True cosmic unity." Understanding dawned on Jack's face. Together, they raised their hands, channeling not just their own power, but the combined energy and will of every being in the assembly. A beam of pure creation, not just light, but a fusion of every form of energy and matter known and unknown, lanced out towards Nyx. The leader of the Void Harbingers howled in defiance, unleashing the full might of chaos against them. The two forces met in a cataclysmic explosion that threatened to rip apart the fabric of space-time itself. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the fate of the cosmos hung in the balance. Then, slowly but surely, the light began to push back the darkness. Nyx's form began to disintegrate, not into nothingness, but into harmonious energy that suffused the station. This isn't possible," Nyx gasped as his consciousness began to fade. Quantum stepped forward, their hands outstretched. "Nothing is impossible when we stand together." With a final, reality-shaking pulse of power, Nyx was gone, not destroyed, but transformed. The chaotic energy that had formed his being was redistributed, becoming part of the cosmic tapestry, rather than a force seeking to unravel it. As the light faded, and the delegates caught their breath, a profound silence fell over the assembly hall. Jack, Zara, and Quantum stood at the center, their forms radiant with the afterglow of cosmic power. Slowly, a cheer began to build. It started with a single voice and swelled until every being in the hall was united in a chorus of triumph and hope. The cosmic guardians exchanged weary but joyful smiles. In the face of destruction, the beings of the universe had chosen unity. It wasn't a perfect solution. There would always be challenges, always be differences to overcome. But it was a start. As the cheering continued, Jack addressed the assembly once more. "Today we've seen the true power of cosmic unity. not as a force for destruction, but as a catalyst for growth and harmony. The Cosmic Council is no longer just a proposal, it's a reality, born in the crucible of crisis. Zara nodded, her eyes shining with pride and determination. Together, we will forge a future where the power of the primordia serves all life, where the barriers between worlds fade, and where love, in all its forms, is the strongest force in the universe. As the cosmic confluence resumed, now with a renewed sense of purpose and unity, Jack, Zara, and Quantum knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead. The cosmos was vast and full of wonders, and together with the newly formed Cosmic Council, they would explore it all, facing whatever challenges arose with the greatest power of all, the power of unity, the nexus of infinities. The grand chamber of the Cosmic Council hummed with an energy that transcended the physical realm. Beings from across the multiverse gathered here, their forms as diverse as the stars themselves. At the center of it all stood Jack and Zara, the Cosmic Guardians, their appearances now a mesmerizing blend of human, Thalaxian, and pure cosmic energy. "The nexus is unstable," Jack announced, his voice resonating with the gravity of the situation. "The barriers between realities are weakening." Zara nodded, her starlight-infused eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded them. "If we don't act soon, the entire multiverse could collapse in on itself." Quantum, now a young adult whose form shifted between various species with fluid grace, stepped forward. "I've analyzed the data. The convergence point is located in a dimension we've never encountered before. It's beyond anything we've seen." The council erupted into a flurry of debate. Some argued for caution, others for immediate action. The fate of not just one universe, but all of existence, hung in the balance. Amidst the chaos, a new voice cut through the noise. "Perhaps I can be of assistance." All eyes turned to the speaker, a being of pure light and mathematics, its form constantly reconfiguring into impossible geometries. This was Axiom, a cosmic entity that claimed to be as old as the multiverse itself. "The nexus of infinities is not just a place," Axiom explained, its voice a symphony of equations. "It's the linchpin of all realities. What happens there echoes across every dimension, every possible timeline." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "And if it collapses?" Axiom's form pulsed ominously. "Then everything ends. Not just our universe, not just our multiverse, but every conceivable and inconceivable reality. Total cosmic oblivion." The chamber fell silent as the weight of this revelation settled over the assembled beings. Zara was the first to break the silence, her voice filled with determination. "Then we have no choice. We must journey to the nexus and stabilize it." Quantum nodded, their forms settling into a hybrid of their parent species. "I'm coming too. You'll need my unique perspective." Jack looked at his family, his wife, his child, the two beings he loved more than anything in any universe. He knew the risks, knew that this mission could very well be their last, but he also knew they were the only ones who could hope to succeed. "Axiom," he said, turning to the cosmic entity, "can you guide us to the nexus?" The being of light and math pulsed in affirmation. "I can show you the way, but I cannot accompany you. The journey itself will challenge everything you think you know about reality. You must be prepared for truths that defy comprehension." With the blessing of the Cosmic Council, Jack, Zara, and Quantum prepared for their most perilous mission yet. They stood at the heart of Harmony Station, ready to plunge into the unknown. Axiom's voice surrounded them, guiding them through the process. "Focus on the space between spaces, the thought between thoughts. The path to the nexus exists in the contradictions of reality." As one, the Cosmic Guardians and their child reached out with their powers, pushing beyond the boundaries of their own dimension. The world around them began to twist and warp, reality itself seeming to fray at the edges. They found themselves traveling through a kaleidoscope of realities, worlds where time flowed backwards, universes made entirely of thought, dimensions where the laws of physics were more like gentle suggestions. With each transition, They felt their own forms changing, adapting to the impossible nature of their journey. Finally, after what could have been moments or millennia, they arrived at the nexus of infinities. It was a sight that defied description, a swirling maelstrom of pure possibility, where every reality that ever was or could be collided and combined. At the heart of this cosmic storm, they saw the problem. A great tear was forming in the fabric of the nexus, threatening to unravel the very foundations of existence. "We need to seal it," Zara said, her voice somehow heard over the roar of colliding realities. Jack nodded, reaching for her hand. "Together, it's always stronger when we're together." Quantum joined them, forming a triangle of cosmic power. "I am the bridge between your realities. Let me be the keystone of our efforts." As they poured their energy into the tear, they felt the weight of all existence pressing down upon them. Every possible version of themselves from across the multiverse seemed to be lending their strength, their hopes, their dreams to this one crucial moment. But the tear resisted their efforts, growing larger by the second. Jack felt doubt creeping in. "It's not enough. We're not strong enough." That's when they heard it, a symphony of voices echoing from every corner of the multiverse. The beings they had touched, the lives they had changed, all lending their support. From the smallest microbe to the grandest cosmic entity, all of creation was uniting behind them. Zara's eyes widened in realization. That's it. We're not meant to seal the tear. We're meant to guide the multiverse in healing itself. Understanding dawned on them all. They shifted their efforts, becoming conduits for the combined will of all existence. Love, hope, despair, fear, every emotion, every thought, every dream flowed through them. The tear in the nexus began to close, reality knitting itself back together. But the strain on the cosmic guardians was immense. They felt their very beings starting to unravel under the pressure. Just when it seemed they would be torn apart, they felt a new presence join them. Axiom, defying its own limitations, had joined the effort. Its voice rang out across all realities. "Your love, your unity, it has taught this old entity something new. Allow me to be the catalyst for your efforts." With Axiom's help, they made one final push. The tear sealed with a reality-shaking burst of energy, and for a moment, every being in every universe felt a profound sense of connection. As the cosmos settled into a new equilibrium, Jack, Zara, Quantum, and Axiom found themselves back in the chamber of the Cosmic Council. But they were changed. Their forms now seemed to flicker between states, as if they existed in multiple realities at once. The assembled council looked on in awe as the cosmic guardians shared their experience. They spoke of the true nature of the multiverse, of the interconnectedness of all things, and of the power of unity in the face of cosmic challenges. Axiom, now a permanent part of their family unit, helped translate the more esoteric concepts. "The cosmic guardians have become living nexus points," it explained. "Through them, the boundaries between realities can be maintained and, when necessary, traversed." As the implications of this new cosmic status quo sank in, Jack turned to his family. Despite the enormous power they now wielded, despite the responsibility that came with being the linchpins of the multiverse, what he felt most was love. "So," he said with a smile that reflected across 1 billion realities, "ready for our next adventure?" Zara laughed, the sound like music of the spheres. "Always, my love, always." Quantum grinned, their forms settling into a new configuration that somehow encompassed all their potential selves. "As long as we're together, we can face anything." Axiom pulsed in agreement, its light harmonizing with their energy. The story of the cosmic guardians is far from over. Indeed, it has only just begun. As they stood together, a family unit that transcended the very concept of reality, the multiverse itself seemed to hum with anticipation. The cosmic guardians had faced their greatest challenge and emerged transformed. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it with the greatest power in all of existence, the power of love, unity, and unwavering hope for the future. The chamber of the Cosmic Council erupted in cheers, the sound echoing across dimensions. It was the dawn of a new cosmic age, with the Guardians at its heart. The tale of the human who married an alien princess had become legend, a story whispered across the stars. But their greatest adventures, their most profound discoveries, still lay ahead, in the infinite possibilities of the realities they now shepherded.